Hi, everyone. Welcome to Prop Live from the shop. We continue work on the Destiny Vex Goblin today. Got my plaster torso set up. Talk about that in a couple minutes. We have our live chat. If you would like to join, go to punishedprops.com/live. There's some information there how to get set up with the IRC channel. Come hang out with a bunch of cool cosplayers and prop makers and people who like Destiny. It's a nice combination. Developing cosplay says, great success. Let me know if anything looks weird or sounds weird besides the normal routine, and I'll make adjustments. Hey, it's Kiwi's in the chat. Hi. Hello to all the chat people. All right, I'll get this show started. So, on Prop Live tonight, we're going to be working on the Vex cosplay some more. I'll actually show you, if you haven't played Destiny, or let's see, what browser? Oh, we don't want to look at that. Picture. Yeah, totally professional here. Okay, so that's one of the Vex units from Destiny. They're a bad guy. I think they look awesome. And so I've been working on a cosplay from this guy, this style. There's a couple different units. I really like, these are like the grunt level, easy to kill units. I just really like their design. So been working on this guy. On previous live streams, I worked on the head, some of the feet stuff, and the design process. So I've started working on, wait, let's see. There, now I can point at it. Start working on this part. Got lots of crazy details here. I've already made some modifications to kind of make it fit the human form. And it's looking pretty good. I have a lot of work left to do. So join me on this adventure. Oh, if you're tuning in for the first time, this is a Punished Props live stream. And Bill, who is normally the host of Punished Props, is down in, he's in LA right now doing some cool stuff. The good news is there will still be a Prop Live Q&A this week at the same time on Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And he will have 2 special guests if all goes well. And I'm super stoked. He'll be doing that all in LA. I don't have to deal with any of it. So hopefully that works out. We'll make it a really special episode. But until then, you're stuck with me. So sorry about that. And my name is Britt, or Brittany, or whatever you want to call me. If you have any questions and you're in the chat, you can just at Punished Props, the little @ symbol and Punished Props space, and then type your question. It'll show up in a different color, and I should be able to catch it. There's a lot of really cool chatter going on, so I might miss it. Or you can try and use the, if you're watching it through the Google Hangout, you can use the Q&A app and put in a question there, and I'll see it pop up and answer it there. So ask away while I get to work. So good to see everyone. This makes the shop not as lonely without Bill here. I don't have to bug Will, who's over there working on cool foam stuff. All right, so back to the picture. One of the things I needed to do was build this shape on a human form because they have crazy wide shoulders. They have like no waist. And they also have no neck. You don't realize it until you start building this headpiece that the human head doesn't fit in this shape. in this shape right here. They have tiny, tiny waists, yeah. So first thing I did was dug out my old plaster torso, and this was made, I don't know, like 4 years ago, and it's still holding up. It's a little wiggly. It's hollow. The way you make one of these is you get a friend and a bunch of plaster bandages, and wear a shirt you don't care about anymore because it's probably going to get destroyed. A nice tight-fitting shirt, and you wet the bandages and put them on one strip at a time. On, I think we did the back first, front first. I don't know. There's a seam right here, and so you do one side, and you get a nice thick seam, and then you put like Vaseline or petroleum jelly on that seam, and then do the back half. It's very important. You don't want the seams to stick together, and then because then you'll be encased in plaster. It was really quick and cheap to make. I would rather have a duct tape torso. That's where you do the same process, but you ruin a shirt by putting a bunch of duct tape on it. And that's great because you can kind of like draw seam lines if you're doing a pattern on it while you cut it off. So if you want like a seam in the front or like on the sides. We haven't done that yet. Those ones you tape back together and stuff with like newspaper or use expanding foam to get that nice form. This one kind of keeps its shape. I mean, it's a little bendy, but that's fine. The reason I want a duct tape one is these plaster ones add bulk, so it's not good for like a dress form. It's great for armor. I have this little foam thing is attached just by one of these guys. It's a pin, a T-pin, I think it's called. You just jab it through the back, and then you can like stick foam to it. So you can kind of like place things on. You don't have to tape it on there. But it is like a little bigger form, so it doesn't work for like doing dress patterns because then they will be way too big. So I want both. I actually want a full duct tape body form just to be able to put my whole armor on. But you do usually need a friend to help you with that kind of stuff. It's really hard to do on your own. So sad thing is I ran out of beer. This is what happens when I'm home alone. I caught up on, if you haven't been watching the new BattleBots, you totally should. I watched the newest episode last night and finished all the beer. It was good stuff. It was a great show. If you have access to Hulu, even just like the free version, you can watch BattleBots on there. Also, people have been putting up on YouTube, which is weird, like on like not licensed legit accounts. It's very strange. Or if you know, one of those few people who have cable, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, developing cosplay, the duct tape forms, I think, can get pretty distorted. The one I saw, I think, Andrew Cook, the DFT cosplayer, the Frontline Trooper, I think he did a time lapse on YouTube of his form, and they filled it with that cheap expanding foam that comes in the spray cans. Those aren't good for like normal cosplay use for filling things because it stays a little squishy and shrinks a little bit. But for like filling a form, it's super cheap stuff to work with. So I would probably get a bunch of those cans and use that. And you can see that this has been used for several projects. I think drawn on here is a pattern for my Skyrim Draugr. Actually, you can kind of see it on the back better. Yeah, those are all the rings and the straps. And so this way I can make it so the straps actually fit on the form and attach to the different rings. Then I took, I think I used clear tape. I just taped, like wrapped clear tape around it and drew the lines on top of the clear tape and then tore that off. And then I had a loose pattern. Then I took that tape and stuck it to paper, cut that out. So I had my pattern that fit fairly well. I think it ended up being a teeny bit big, but I just made some adjustments. Some other lines on here, I think from my Nixia costume. Yeah, it's super useful. If you ever get too much junk on there that you've been drawing on, you can just paint it, like spray paint it like a whatever color. That's easy to draw on, like a tan or a white. Yeah, it's super useful. It just saves so much time doing template stuff. I never used to do that. Like, it's one of the reasons I don't like sewing. It's because I skipped the important stuff. That makes it a success. Instead, I waste a lot of time undoing stitches. All right. So you're probably wondering where the torso is that I've been working on. It's outside right now. I put some barge on it. I'm doing a cool seam thing. I'll show you in a couple minutes. Beep. I have this guy I've been working on. This is the, it's this part. Let me zoom in. It's this part. I didn't make it quite wide enough here, but it's fine. Yeah, I think it looks good. I think I was using a different reference where it's a little bit of an angle, but it's this guy. Okay, so let's see. I think before I go into the details of how I made this, I'll kind of talk about how I got the base form for the Vex, because they are not human shape at all. Bring up oh, that's perfect. Here's a side picture. They have this kind of like big oval form. So there's like, if human shoulders are right here, their back would be right here. So there's all this big empty space here. There's a lot of forward chest stuff going on. So I needed this big round shape. So what I did was let's do this. I took my torso and I had a lot of those, it's like bubble wrap, but it's those big cell bubble wraps, the kind I don't like reusing when I'm shipping props because they seem like if one pops, all of a sudden there's lots of room in the case. So I have all these giant cell bubble wrap pieces. I wrapped my torso in those and used a bunch of clear tape, just wrapped it around it to get that big ovally, it was like this way. Yeah, the big ovally form of that guy, that shape. And so I bulked it all up, and then I kind of like traced on the midlines with just a Sharpie and kind of the basic shape. And then I wrapped all that in this, it's like a transfer paper. I don't know. It's just really cheap, really thin. It's almost like newspapery paper. We use it for masking. It might be called masking paper. We have a couple different kinds, and this is just like the thin stuff. But I wrapped my form in this, and then I kind of traced the lines on where I wanted the seams to be. And I ended up with this really, I mean, like the first template always looks pretty bad. Yeah. I ended up with all this stuff. So like this is that main front part. You can see where this goes on to it. So like this was all on this. And there's like all these, well, those are different pieces. I had like a whole bunch of different seams. I was trying out different things. So then I took this and I put it on some scrap foam floor mats. We actually had a bunch of them that were used on the floor, believe it or not, and they got pretty beat up. So we had this stack of used floor mats that weren't good for like finishing pieces, but they were good for doing templates. So I moved these pieces to the floor mats. Oh, something fell. Everything's cool. Butcher paper. It might be. Oh, hi, Bio Cosplay. Welcome to the chat. I think I found it. That thin stuff I was just showing you. We got that at Harbor Freight. The bigger stuff we use that's thicker and sturdy, which is actually what this stuff is. We got at Home Depot or Lowe's. In the like the place where you get like painting drop cloths or tarps in the painting aisle. So I think it's used to like put down on the floor in your painting rooms. These nice giant rolls. They're good to like roll it on your table if you're doing a lot of painting, because then you can throw it away later. Oh, the sweet, sweet sounds of the Dremel. Anyway, so this is the scrap floor mat. You can see it has all this gross stuff on the side. There's like foot marks on it and dents from chairs. But it was great for doing templates. I transferred my thin paper to this. And then, see, this was originally 2 pieces. And then I put it all together with just some barge cement. So I had this foam torso that kind of looked like it was the right shape. And then I drew a bunch of lines on there and made new seams. So I didn't want this seam anymore. So I have this other new seam. So then I had this new form that I liked from, I won't even try and decipher it. All those little paper templates are all mangled now. And then I transferred that to a final piece to use my final template. And you can see there's little hash marks that you use to line up your pieces later. Evil Ted Smith is amazing. He's the one where we learn these techniques from. It's a great way to line up your foam pieces. So like my little foam pieces were all together. When I cut them apart, I have little hash marks on either side. So that way when you glue them back together, you can see where they all go. I'll show you how they line up on the final piece. I'll go grab that from outside. It should be dry by now. All right, so bear with me. This may look a teeny bit big, but this is totally going to work. So this is the form, the final form I ended up with. You can see, move this up there. Here's a good example. So these were two different templates, paper templates, that I transferred to this foam. And those little hash marks all line up. Kind of line up. Some of them are messed up, but that's fine. And so I used barge contact cement to glue these together and get this awesome form. One of the things I was just doing was, I'll show you in a reference. Let's see. It's kind of hard to see. I need to get some more. I'm realizing there's parts of the Vex that I don't have very good pictures of. Oh, that one's fine. So there's this indent that I've already done on this top piece, but this bottom under piece has like an outdent, kind of. It's like a line that follows it that's supposed to bend outwards. So like for this guy, let me get rid of this. I cut this all out of one piece, but then I did that kind of trench maneuver I was doing in the last stream where you partially cut through the foam, not all the way through, and then you cut through again at an angle. So you create this little V trench. You pull out the foam that's remaining. You brush some barge in there, let it dry, and then you pinch it together. So that little V that was a void will stick together, and you get this nice little bend in it. Well, now what I need to do is the opposite of this. I want it to kind of bend outward. Mr. Argonian says, Vex are weird. It's true, they are weird. Oh, yeah. So I really like the Fallen, but I don't want to cosplay them. I've never had that draw. The Vex I always wanted to make a cosplay of. There's this really awesome Fallen captain that I got to see at Dragon Con last year. Let's see if we can find a picture of him. It was so cool getting to meet him in person. I think he brought it to San Diego Comic-Con this year as well. Yeah. And then, I mean, so Dragon Con's in Labor Day, so that's in September. So this was even, it was like right around when the game came out. So he was on the ball. Like he got this done without like any references. except for some of like the art or from the alpha or something. So I just love that. Yeah, I don't know if he's part of Stony Props. So if you go to the, I think, if you go to the Stony Props Facebook page, which is STONY, but I don't think he has his own page. That's just like a group of them. So, and I think he has like a day job or something. He just does awesome things as well in his free time. So I don't know if he has his own page. Oh, I just love that so much. But for me, I don't know. I tend to gravitate towards costumes I kind of think I can pull off with my, like kind of pull off the silhouette. That's one of the things I really like to do personally for a costume, is to try and nail, like if I can nail this kind of Vex look with like the big wide hips and the big wide chest thing, I just like that makes me want to do that costume. It's like, I want to cosplay this. And it's fun to try and break it down to see how you're going to see out of it and see how you're going to move. All right, so let's go back to this guy. All right, so I have on the inside of this, sorry, that was probably a little loud, I bumped the mic, the same kind of trench that I cut out. So I just partially cut through a line all the way down this line with a X-Acto knife, and then cut through again with the same knife at an angle to form that void. And now I don't want to pinch it this way, I want to pull it. One way you can do this is just by filling it with a whole bunch of hot glue. Instead, I brushed it with barge, and I made these little foam wedge stuff out of some scraps and covered those in barge too. So hopefully I can just mush this in the gap and pull it open all the way, and I should get like this outward lip going. I haven't tried this, so let's try it on the final piece because that sounds smart. Good thing is I can always tear it out and do something else, but it should be fine. I mean, what's gone wrong in cosplay before? I mean, really. Yeah, so the Hive, I really hope they get their costumes done. I haven't gotten to see any progress stuff, but I was chatting with some people who are going to be at Dragon Con that are working on some Hive cosplays. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see everyone's costumes. Because I want to make a Guardian, probably a Titan, but I always tend to gravitate towards the bad guys too, because it makes photo shoots really fun. Getting to pose with all the Guardians and be the Vex. There's also the weekend before Dragon Con is PAX Prime out here in Seattle, and there's an area that looks like those Vex blocks, like not the complexes, but just like the normal blocks in their environment on Venus in the game. And I really want to just go get my photo taken standing on one of those, fighting like a Guardian. Oh, it's gonna be so awesome. All right, I think that's gonna work. Let's keep pulling this apart, mushing this wedge thing in there. The sound you hear is the wonderful Dremel that Will's using. He's working on a Titan solar hammer from the Taken King. It's coming out later this year. It's really, really awesome looking. That's WM Armory, for those wondering. He hangs out in the shop. Yeah, Bio Cosplay, you totally should go to Dragon Con with your Warlock. It's looking really awesome. He's doing that cool, I should really know the name of it. The one Warlock helmet that has the bone look. Feel free to link it if you have it handy, because it's looking really good. He's like, I know how to make stuff out of foam. Let me do this awesome foam helmet that looks like bone. So it looks really good. I'd love to be able to see that in person. Yeah, looks like it's going to work. It'll be subtle, but that's fine. I don't want it to be too extreme because it's already so big. It's all fine. Yeah, I think if I wanted to make Crota's sword, I would do it out of foam. Just be fun to do a really organic build with a Dremel and a lot of foam. But I've seen people 3D print the sword. I think that would end up being a little heavy and maybe not con safe because those things are huge. And I would want to take it to a convention. So a nice light foam version that maybe comes apart in a couple places. I love that because you could either have the sword as like a Hive Knight or as a Guardian. Or as Crota. Whoa. Oh, Avatar, Bio Cosplay did a cool. Yeah, are you gonna make me find it? Oh no, he linked it. Yeah, the Skull of Dire Amkara. Yeah, that one. To be fair, back when I did QA stuff at Bungie, I tended to play in other languages where their names are different. I played a lot in German. The German voice is pretty awesome. If you ever wanted to switch your console to a different language and play Destiny, it makes a pretty entertaining time to hear the different voice work. Yeah, I told you that helmet was cool. It's amazing how, like, because it looked really good before it was even painted, that Warlock helmet. But once you paint it and get that real, like, bone look, it's just like, it looks like it's from the game. It's so satisfying. I might have to go back and squish this all again. You guys get to watch me do all the fun stuff. If I wanted to do a more extreme seam, I would just have these be two different pieces that I glue together at an angle to get that really nice sharp seam. But the reference does look like it just kind of bends slightly. It's pretty straight. It looks like it's a little lumpy because I got dust all over it, but it's pretty good. And it's like little touches like this that add that dimension to your costume. It's like I could have left this out, but I'm like, you get the light hitting it just right, and you see that shadow line. That makes it look cooler. It's that extra little realism thing going on. All right, cool. So I have a slight little line going on. All right, I'm going to put this back on the torso so you can see what's going on. And if you've just tuned in and want to join in on this chat of awesome cosplayers, just go to punishedprops.com/live, and all the chat information is there to join. Join the IRC channel. And I'm going to do this extra piece. Let's put it over there. Okay. So this is just a kind of a test foam piece I put here. with that T-pin that I just jammed through the plaster, and in a weak spot, just stuck this on here. The middle pieces are placeholder. I think there's more going on there. I think I need some better references. I'll show you what I got though. It's tricky because that neck thing is in shadow a lot. You can kind of see it there. Yeah, it's this thing. There's definitely like some kind of like wedge neck thing that fills in this void. So I just started doing some foam floor mat pieces. Kind of look like that. And this is all just squishy upholstery foam that we have a bunch of small pieces lying around. I kind of want to get that bulked up look. I want the torso to be higher on the back and higher on the shoulders. Since the Vex really don't have a neck going on here, I wanted to make this part higher on my human form. What do you need, Will? Oh, there you go. He is all set. So I wanted this to be all raised up a bit. So like my shoulder will be like down here instead of like flush up here, because otherwise this head is going to be up higher. Since see if I have a side view. Oh, hey, it's perfect. You see this side view, like my head would be sticking out instead of, you know, like flat against this. So this is all kind of going to be raised up a little bit to give that illusion of me not actually having a neck. I still feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. That's what I found out. A lot of painting is like, if you get to do a lot of weathering, especially with organic stuff, is it just seems to be, it's all about layers. So like every layer, it looks better or different, and then eventually you might not even see the bottom layer anymore. What do you need?
I'm looking for tiny screws.
I bet there are tiny screws. Actually, doesn't he keep his screws in the screw drawer? Those might be.
Those are too big.
Oh, well,
those
sorry.
are like wood.
What about in that guy?
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Don't, hope Bill's not watching. Will's taking all your screws.
I only need two.
All right. So this piece went to, where is it? Ah. The torso there. See, that's part of the back. So exciting. So you can see this is the kind of the side view. It's that big bulky shape. My shoulder is going to be down here. So on the torso, I needed this is all just taped to the plaster torso, but eventually I'm going to have like an upholstery foam, probably like a collar system going on that'll probably just strap on to the like with nylon webbing straps, strap across the shoulders and kind of a harness. I could attach it to the undersuit, which is going to be like a one-piece bodysuit. I'm going to do that with other pieces with those clothing snaps. Those have been working really well for us. As long as you back the snap with a non-stretchy fabric before you sew it onto the stretchy fabric, then the snap stays perfectly fine. But for this stuff, I don't want it sliding around, so I'll probably do like a little harnessy system, which Bill actually went over in his Foam Armor Fast book because he had to do that for his Warlock Rogue armor. He had to do that same kind of harness to keep those crazy World of Warcraft. Did I say that? Did I say Warlock or World of Warcraft? Because I have Warlocks on the brain. Either way, World of Warcraft. Those giant shoulder things, to keep those from sliding around and being weird, he made a nylon webbing harness out of it. So I'll probably do the same for the squishy foam. And that way, when I set this big guy on it, that it'll stay snugly in place and not slide around. And then probably have like Velcro on the top of this that this sets down onto. The places that are shiny are duct tape. That's where the seams actually are. These come apart. This whole thing, this front piece comes apart for shipping so that I can take this off and flip it over and set it inside the back piece or vice versa. So it takes up way less room, because otherwise this would be super pain to ship. Cool. All right, let's put this back on there. So yeah, I'm thinking just it'll be like a big upholstery foam collar. This is just a hanger in here, like one of those plastic clothing hangers. I just temporarily set it in there so I can hang this from the ceiling. So normally I would probably get this on by having this seam here be Velcro and the seam up here be Velcro. And this I would probably have it attached before putting the costume on, and then this one I would attach after I put it on. I can weasel this on without taking the sides on and off, but you don't want to like start forcing the costume to fit. Come back, hanger. I need you. All right. Yeah. Look at that. So the for coming apart for shipping, it has the seam here and has a seam here on both sides. And there will be like probably like conveniently there's a shoulder piece that's going to go on top of this, like a flat panel. So that'll hide this one. And this one I'll probably try and make it look intentional that there's a seam there. But on the inside I'll have overlapping Velcro. And up here too, the same system so that they fasten together all nicely. On torsos like this, you don't want to use magnets usually because if there's any kind of pulling force, they'll pop apart. Magnets are good for things that are set on. So like if I wanted to magnet my shoulder piece on top of here, that little flat one I'm going to add, I could do that. But I'll probably just use a snap or Velcro for those. So when this comes apart, I can just flip it and put it inside of this one. So it's like two little clamshell things. Oh, there we go, overlapping. So it's like this, and it goes whoop, like that. Takes up much less room. There's going to be more, there's like more stuff that goes up here. A big panel back here, and then there's this piece I'm going to be attaching, this guy in the front. I'll probably, after I get all the pieces attached, if it still seems, it's kind of flimsy right now because it's all 6mm foam. But after all the layers, it's going to be pretty thick. If it still seems thin in some areas, I'll start backing the inside of it. So you can see I have a lot of room. Like this is the back, this is the front. This is actually, I'm trying to make it so not much of it's actually touching me. So if it's all kind of weighted on the shoulders, and it's not going to be heavy, but it just, I found out that if you cover yourself in foam floor mats and then go out into the heat, the sweat and heat can't get out and you get super warm. So just having all this exposed area is going to be awesome. I'm wearing a black bodysuit, so you won't be able to see the insides. And I'll paint, fabric paint certain areas gray for like pistons or whatever kind of look I want to have. Yeah, developing cosplay, you're at work, right? You should only be half paying attention. Oh, hey, there's a question that I've probably missed for like the past half hour. And if you have questions, you can either throw them in the chat. If you do @Punished Props and a space and then the question, it'll show up in a different color and I should see it. Or you can use the Google Hangout Q&A app. There's a little grid icon in the upper right that has a little Q&A thing, and you can ask a question there. And I should see it, except I was ignoring it. It was covered up on my screen. We have, let's see, select. This is from Lisbeth. How perfect are the insides of your cosplays when they're done? Do you bother with covering glue, sanding edges, and stuff like that in there? It all depends. It is true that it usually looks like a mess. What you don't want is if there is exposed, sharp, pointy bits, even if they're not going to touch you, you don't think they're going to touch you. Anything that's rough on the inside. So like on my Draugr costume, the one that had all these rings on it, I had furniture tacks that look like those awesome rivet things that I put like on the overlapping strap bits on all these pieces. And so I jabbed it through the fabric, and on the other side I snipped off the end, but there's still a little bump hanging out of it, and I kind of like covered it in hot glue, and I was like, oh, I'll be fine. What I didn't realize is with the straps tugging against my back, I could feel those sharp pieces of hot glue. And it's not like they would puncture me, but it was super irritating. So then next day I went back and covered on with craft foam. It's another good thing that these like scraps are good for. Take a bunch of these to a convention with you in your cosplay repair kit and some hot glue, and just cover all the offending sharp bits on the inside of your costumes. Other than that, the inside of costumes usually look like a horrible mess. They're usually half painted, you know, that paint that bleeds over the sides. If you're doing any kind of fiberglass work, you want to make sure that's super smooth and safe on the inside, or else you can hurt yourself when you take your costume on and off. If there's just one little bit of fiberglass fiber that's sticking up, that can cut you. So that's just something you want to keep in mind if you're working with that stuff, to make sure it's the outside of the fiberglass that looks really nice. Do the same thing with the inside. But if you're using foam, like this is the inside. You can see the shiny bits are like where the barge cement overlapped, and it's not sticky anymore, but it put like a sealant on parts of the foam, and it looks all shiny and weird. And these are little extra strips I just glued on top of here that I'm going to use to adhere to the piece below it, so it's all like uneven and weird and stuff. But no one's ever going to see it. And to be fair, that's how movies do it too. Especially like a lot of cosplay stuff tends to look better than film, because you get to see it like 5 inches away. On film, you see it 10 feet away. So they don't have to worry about as much as cosplayers do. But no one will see the inside of the costume. Fans. Oh, Avathar's wondering why I don't use fans to keep cool. Fans do help if you have room for them. So like our buddy Steve from Steve K. Smith Props, he did a Dragon Age Inquisition cosplay. I'd go look for it, but he's done a ton of Destiny stuff recently. I bet it's going to be hard to find. I'll take a look, though. So he did his entire armor costume out of foam, and it was all just flat to his skin everywhere. There's no room for fans. And so there's that gap that you need for the fans for the air to circulate, because otherwise it's not going to work. Oh gosh, the computer's chugging. All right, I'm going to close Facebook. This poor little computer, I don't think can handle it. Anyway, go look up SKS Props to see his awesome Dragon Age costume, completely out of foam. He's the master of doing like straps and stuff and making it look like leather, but it's really foam. But foam doesn't breathe. Real leather does. So in some cases that can be better. But foam is cheap, at least in the US. Yeah, that's a good point. VexFX says, cosplay has to be built to last. For movies, we say it's perfect if it falls apart as you leave the set for the final day of shooting. I totally believe it. Elizabeth says, thanks for answering my question. Yeah, and it's especially like older movies. We have in Seattle, we have the sci-fi and fantasy museums that you can go to and see all these old costumes. And before there was like HD camera stuff, when they thought that it would never be seen in HD quality, they're like, it's just hot glue the acrylic buttons on the Enterprise's command chair. No one will notice. And now they're coming out with these Blu-ray versions later of all the old content. You can see all the imperfections. And so you go see it in person, like I was looking at Captain Kirk's chair, and it is just chunks of acrylic buttons that they hot glued to the chair, and you can see the hot glue oozing out of the sides. But from like 20 feet away on an old show, it looked awesome. But for a cosplay, it's like, I want to make it look like it's an actual Switch. So cosplayers do tend to have that kind of, I don't know, obsessive standard about their costumes. Yeah, Avatar, I could put fans in my costume, but I don't think I'll need to. One thing I found with the Skyrim Draugr costume that I wore, I had a lot of bodysuit exposed in the back, and that's enough. Like if there's a slight breeze, it feels awesome. And I don't really need a fan constantly breezing on it because then I'll actually get a little too cold. I tend to be cold most of the time anyway, so I think just not having the foam against my skin and having just the bodysuit exposed, it should be perfect. So I shouldn't get too cold or too hot, unless, you know, I'm in Atlanta outside at Dragon Con, but you're doomed if you're not wearing any clothes in that weather. All right, so Mr. Argonian wants to use his foam board to make swords. That would be awesome. We've done ancient Nord weapons out of poplar before. I keep talking about my Skyrim costume. I'll just show it to you really quick if you haven't seen it. And then we'll get back to the Destiny Vex. All right. Whoop. All right, so this was our first versions we did back in 2013. And then we updated the masks and changed up some of the way the helmets work. So that's the updated versions with before we just had body paint for masks. And this one, we moved the eyes to the helmet, I think, or I don't know. We changed the layout and used actual skull masks so they look a lot better in person. So, oh yeah, so these are from the game, from Skyrim, the Ancient Nord sword and one-handed axes. And we just made vector templates out of these in Inkscape, got the size about right, and just made it out of poplar wood. I'm surprised, like, for not working with wood very much, I wasn't expecting it to be so light and durable, as long as you work with the grain, so the grain goes the way, you know, that, I don't know, it's like woodworking. So they're light and super durable. This was a plastic laser cut. I think we got these laser cut from Pinocchio, because this was before we had our laser cutter. So Pinocchio.com. We took our vector and just got it cut there, glued on the pieces, and painted them up. This was all done really last minute, right before Dragon Con. So they were super rush builds, so we didn't get to carve all the detail in it, but they still really hold up. Some conventions don't let you have wooden weapons, so that's something to consider. I think New York City Comic-Con was really cracking down on that. They said, you know, it had to be like bendable foam or really light foam, and that's it. So you want to make sure that your convention does allow wooden stuff. But for foam board, foam board, Mr. Argonian has, that would be perfect for that, because that would be con safe and easy to work with. You could just hand cut all the details. Now I'm just looking at my build. I'll show you what I was talking about with, oh yeah, so the inside of these were fiberglass, the helmets. So that's an example of something you'd want to sand down to make sure it's super smooth and not going to hurt your head. And you can check this out on punishedprops.com and just look up Skyrim in the search thing, and it should pop up as one of the choices. We have made quite a few Skyrim things. There's Bill's plaster torso. All right. While I'm over here, all the stuff I'm working on today is stuff that Bill taught me. Bill took all of his awesome foam knowledge and put it into a book. And it was a 3-part ebook trilogy teaching you how to make your costume out of foam, all the way from templating to cutting out the pieces to connecting them together to creating straps to making the undersuit work with it. And that's all now compiled into one book. There's an ebook, and we actually have a physical book. I'll go grab it because it is awesome. So if you haven't done any cosplay and are thinking about it, there's a physical one. It's like, I don't know, 180 something pages. There's just tons of stuff in here. Lots of good pictures, good references. I don't know, I think it looks cool. But anyway, so I haven't. Oh, yeah, this is the templating. There's actually a picture of Will in there wearing a helmet. Will, did you know you're in our Foamsmith book?
I had no idea. Is it the green helmet?
Yep, it's the green helmet. It's a good picture.
There's my modeling credit in it.
So back when I had a day job, I didn't get to do too much cosplaying. So my cosplays were always rushed, and I didn't get to do a lot of detail. Bill usually helped me on them. So now that I have extra time in the evenings to work on my own stuff, I actually read this and learned a lot. And now my speed has gone up incredibly. Like, I used to be so slow at making everything, and now it's just everything's moving really fast. So if you are interested in picking up this book, you can head over to punishedprops.com. And there's a shop section. There's an ebook version you can get. That the ebook also comes with the Foam Armor Fast book that I mentioned earlier, the one with the World of Warcraft armor. Teaches you how to make your cosplay really quickly. I think he made that one in a couple days before BlizzCon. And he documented the whole process and made a little book out of it. So that one comes with the ebook version. But if you really want a physical one, those are available as well in a different part in the store. And I don't know. I really like it. It's a thing. Like there's Bill. He's on a book. It just feels weird. It feels weird having a thing like that. But I highly recommend it. There's a lot of really good tips in there. I still refer to it. Like, I forgot how nylon webbing straps wove together, like when you cinch them. So there's a picture of how to do it in the book. So I had to look it up because I didn't remember. So I still use it. Reptane wonders if it contains anything with 3D software. It does not. These books are very minimal. They try and have the least amount of power tools needed, all minimal, just template stuff, not as much software required. We are thinking about doing a design book, taking your 3D design through Pepicora and stuff, but that would be a whole separate book. So that way we can get super detailed, because a lot of this just touches on all the things you need on how to make a foam costume. And if we focused on if we threw 3D software stuff in here, that would take up half the book, and then it would be crazy. I would like to put one of those together, though. We're finding that doing 3D templates has been super helpful. Yeah, Avatar says, I have Bill on my hands. Nah. All right, I'm going to go put this away so I don't get dust on it, and then I'll get back to work. I like the name 3D for cosplay. It's good stuff. Actually, I've started, Bill doesn't know about this because it's I don't need another costume to work on, but I've secretly started working on a 3D model for a new costume. I don't know if you guys have checked out Heroes of the Storm at all, but it's the Blizzard's new free-to-play MOBA type game. Every week I load it up. I don't play it. I load it up and look at all the characters, because they usually add a new character every couple weeks, and I check them out. I really like the Skeleton King. I think that would be a really fun costume. So I've started modeling him around a human form. He doesn't have a torso. He just has a spine, and he has weird proportions. So I have my 3D form, and I was
Going from Diablo?
Yeah, the Skeleton King's from Diablo. His Heroes of the Storm one looks a little easier to do. A lot less weird stuff showing, but I kind of I figured out a way to have, because he has a heroic stance, so his chest is super up high, and so if I had entire fake chest in front of me, I could have the spine in front of my torso, so that it would look like that there was no torso there. There'd be a void with fake hips that are forward, because the way he stands, you would have to pose ridiculous to get that kind of shape. It's or you could just stand normal and then have that huge shape in front of you. So we'll see. I doubt I'll have time to make it for BlizzCon this year, but I would love to make a Skeleton King costume. Yeah, and also it looks like a really fun game. I just don't have time to play games, so I just load it up and look at the art. I also discovered you can rotate around the characters. If you just click and hold down on them, you can rotate around them. If you do it really, really fast, the character gets dizzy. He has little like dizzy lines and like he does a little dizzy animation. So that is what I've learned from loading up that Blizzard game. All right. I guess I should get back to work on this. All right. I've been putting it off because I don't want to attach this. I'm afraid I'm going to screw it up, but we're going to do it. All right. Some more light. All right. I'm gonna bend these a little bit more with the heat gun so they're easier to deal with later. Oh no, my foam went everywhere. It's totally gonna stay. Oh, Crimson Chain has access to a CNC router. We will hopefully have a working CNC router soon. The one from, what is it, Inventables, the X-Carve. If we ever get time to set it up, I'm so excited about learning how to use that. I come from a 3D modeling background of a lot of organic stuff, like from movies. So like in Maya, doing like, or for video games, like doing polygon work. CNC is like a different beast. You like tell the curves where to go. So I'd love to learn more about that. I know Autodesk has a lot of free software you can use to learn that stuff. So I've been looking at it. Their 123D design. I think it's all like web-based too. And then you can take that stuff to a 3D printer or a CNC router. It's like, oh, it's so exciting. I'm jealous you get to play around with one of those. Oh, bye, Developing Cosplay. Go get food. Oh yeah, if you want to check out what Developing Cosplay is working on, she has a Facebook page you can go check out. She puts a lot of really good progress pictures up. I'm really impressed with how the wig she's making is going. Because I've never styled a wig before, and I think it looks like it's a crazy hard thing to do, and she did a great job. Okay. It's best when you're attaching things like with barge to not fight them together. So if you can like heat form it a little bit beforehand with a heat gun. So like I now have this curve. Kind of sets nicely there. All right, so now I'm going to, since I'm working with a black foam, I'm going to use a silver Sharpie and mark different spots where I'm going to be adding the contact cement where I'll be attaching this. So I'll kind of like hold it in place and like trace all over it. I'll start with the middle so it's centered. And when I attach it, I'll probably start with the middle too. So that way, if anything becomes lopsided when I go to attach it, it spreads from the center. Okay. I'll put barge all the way along this guy. Kind of like doing little, kind of the same line marks, dragging the Silver Sharpie across both pieces so I can line it up as I attach them together. So on this side, oh, hey, Phoenix Revival. I'm glad you're not sad. It's me again. Bill is still, he's down in LA right now working on some cool stuff with Evil Ted Smith and also Frank Ippolito. And hopefully they're both going to be on the Prop Live Q&A this week. They're going to try and stream it down in LA. So look forward to that this Thursday. So he's off having fun, and I'm stuck in the shop. So that little line I just did is a reminder that that's where I want to brush on some of the contact cement. And I did the same drawing on the piece I'm going to attach it to on this guy. So I'll go like dunk, like that. So then you do the same thing up here. Whoa. Oh, the epic fruit cake. What are you working on? Is this the Titan armor, the Vault of Glass armor? Or is this, are you doing a Vex cosplay? Because if you are, then we have to figure out how to meet up together. No, Phoenix Revival, I ran out of beer. I am so sad. It's for the best, though. It's one of the things that find out when you work from home. It's like, I could have beer at any time. It's like, well, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. Not that I usually just have like one every couple hours, but still. There, so that'll get lined up. Like that. We'll put barge on that piece all the way out to there. Let's see this guy. Yeah, Frank Ippolito is awesome. He'll have a lot of stuff up this week on tested.com because he made a new costume for San Diego Comic-Con that premiered there. It's a full like Rancor suit. He put up one picture on his Twitter feed of it at the Adam Savage's party. And it looks like it's awesome. I think a person can be inside of there, but they haven't shown any footage yet because they're going to roll out the videos on Tested. So look forward to those because he is an incredible maker. So Bill is hanging out with him, stealing all his knowledge. He's going to take it back to Seattle and then teach it all to us. Okay, so the epic fruitcake, well, first of all, the template I used for this, I cut apart into little pieces to do like the different layers and stuff, so it's all gone. But also, this isn't human shape anymore. There are some similar pieces on the Vex Goblin that they reused for the Titan torso. What you'd want to get is a template for the Titan torso and then modify it because this isn't. I'm changing like everything's higher and weird shape. Everything's super wide. Like you can see my tiny form in there. So it wouldn't work for a human form. I know some people have made Pepakura files available, papercraft ones for some Destiny armor pieces. You can probably just Google search it and just modify it. Because yeah, there are some, I noticed that like the little fins on the back are the same, but like the shape is different. I love that armor though, the Vault of Glass armor of all 3 classes. They're very Vex looking. Hi, Cosplay Armory. Yeah, that's our current chat system. The YouTube chat is super laggy and doesn't really work for us. So we've just started to have our own IRC channel. Great thing about the IRC channel is it's always up. You can join anytime. Like I hopped on like in the middle of the day the other day yesterday. The other day yesterday. It was sometime last week. I hopped in and there was people in there. And so I chatted with them for a little bit about some random cosplay questions. So I really like having the IRC channel, but it is a separate like window thing. It's not related to the Google Hangout at all. And if you just tuned in, you can join the chat at punishedprops.com/live. And I'll put context cement there and there. All the way out to here. Hope I put this on right. Kind of tempted to just glue that and then do the rest. I might do that. I think I'm just going to glue the top part together and then leave these loose. And then once that's all glued in place, then draw where these are going to get attached, where the contact cement's going to go on here. Because if I do it all at once, I have a feeling it's not going to match up by the time I'm done. Oh, yeah. This is still kind of floppy. It's only a 6mm foam. So is it Amelie? A-M-E-L-I-E. Emily. Oh. I'm bad with pronunciations of all things. It's going to be like that. So it's going to be like pushed in a little bit. When I get more layers on here, it should hold its shape. If not, I can add in some more supports on the inside. I've tried it on and cut this to fit around how my arm's going to be able to exit this. But yeah, if it's like this, my arm just barely touches this part down here, so I can move it. But that is something like when you're creating a template like this, make sure you try it on because you might find out you can't put your arms down if you make it too wide. It's a cool French name, though. I just mispronounce everything. That's what I do. All right, I think I'm going to break out the contact cement. Go grab that. This stuff's getting old. Ew. It's not as brushable as it used to be. I go toss these outside. Dan Gamble is wondering if the have trouble with the main body keeping its shape. Right now, it's only the 6mm craft foam. It only has one layer of the whole structure on it. It's going to have a whole bunch of different layers on it. And if it does seem a little bendy in some areas still, like floppy bendy, I can always add reinforcements to the inside. It's going to have a whole like upholstery foam structure on the shoulders where it's going to rest, but I want to make sure the rib cage isn't super bendy. It'll probably end up being like, I don't know, like the least floor mat thickness, so like 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch thick in most areas. And what I've noticed with the foam floor mats we have, they're not as flexible. So I'll probably just put an inside structure. And I still have tons of room in there. I saw that, he goes, Wise Guy. Yeah, Wise Guy Jim was thinking a cool shirt and pump system would be good to keep cool with us. I think I'm actually going to be pretty good temperature-wise. I'll show you some references. Let's see. Where's my photo thing? There it is. Let's look for... it's kind of... These are all pictures I took when Vex were shooting at me. So this is a 3D model I did of the original form. I've since raised up this whole torso area to kind of sell the look of the Vex being thinner. So like this is, the shoulders are raised up a little bit. But if you, this is actually, I'm really excited about this. All their armor is just on one side because the other side is like pistons and wires and whatever. Actually, I don't think they have wires because they're Vex. They're like, it's kind of some kind of cool technology. But they have like exposed bits that I'm probably just going to paint onto the black bodysuit. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So like one of the bummer things about wearing foam is if you make those foam gauntlets and if they're really tight fitting ones, like my Draugr ones were like that. So I like exposed bodysuit with some armor pieces. So like my temperature was actually really good, except for my forearms were just so like swampy messes because it was just this tube of foam tight to my skin and there was just no breathability. So like I'm just super stoked about having armor only on one side. It'll probably get attached with fabric snaps straight to the bodysuit. So this will get attached to the arm in this one, to the lower arm. Maybe some straps underneath. We'll see. I have a feeling it'll want to slide around a bit, but they're going to be really light. So I have a lot of room in the torso between me and the foam, and also I'm going to have a lot of bodysuit exposed. So I might actually be in Seattle outside. It might be like the perfect temperature. I have a feeling in Atlanta for DragonCon I'll be too warm no matter what I do. But we'll see when I get it all together. I won't add fans or anything. While that contact cement's drying, I'll actually show you the headpiece I have so far. Yeah, it's one of those like Zentai suits. It's similar to the ones we've used for our Skyrim costumes. We got gray ones for that. I got a black one for this. They're like a normal kind of like blah form. So I usually I'll flip it inside out and pin new seams. So like make it tighter fitting to like a more female shape and then sew new seams on it. But other than that, it's fine. It's a very thin material. It's good for airbrushing fabric paint onto. So I can add some gray for like, if I want to do, actually I have a test arm piece I made that I can show you. I'll show you the head first and I'll show you the arm, since I said I was going to grab that. Oh, there's the arm. So I was working on this in the last live stream, and I haven't touched it since, so there's still some pieces that aren't attached. But so this is the top of the Vex crown. And these are all just attached with magnets so that I can take it apart and take it with me to conventions. So there are 2 spots here that are eye hole slits, and I can actually see pretty well out of it, but this is like right up against my forehead. This is how high the human head is on the kind of the setup I have. And their glowing orange red eye thing is down here, so there'll be this protruding section. So this is the only part that's going to be touching my head, the back of it. I'm probably just going to have a strap system to slide it on, and like strap on the lower part of my, like the back of my neck. But a lot of that's going to be exposed, probably just covered with like some fabric or something that's the same color as the Vex. So that way I can hear and not have foam behind me. But we'll see how it looks. If it looks too human head shape, I might put a strip of something back there, like going down over it. But yeah, so that's that. The rest of the head will come out down here. Yeah, the magnets are good for this kind of stuff. If you can see, I have a lot of backing. You can see the shiny magnet bit on there. There's a lot of overlap. So if you have overlap and it just wants to rest there, then actually this is the side where I've added 2 magnets, I think. Well, whatever. If it's resting there, the magnet system works great. Where it's not working so much is if I put magnets in between these 2 pieces, they have to sit just perfectly. And if you push one way or another, they want to kind of come apart, which on the top of the head isn't a big deal, but I'm probably going to redo that with the same overlapping foam method. I can actually show you on the overhead cam. So, or like if you're doing like horns in a helmet, I did that with my Onyxia helmet horns. If they're going into like a socket, the horn is, magnets are great for that because there's not a lot of twisting force going on. So for stuff that's just resting on stuff, I love magnets so much. It makes it super easy. But I wouldn't use it to keep like my torso closed. The magnets I think would pop apart because they would have the same kind of like pulling force. Like this is super easy to take apart, but this middle one, see on the back, just pops on, and it's a really, these are neodymium rare earth magnets, so they really want to stay on there. Sorry. Yeah, these ones, I might even redo the center one. I don't know if you can see, I got like weird dent marks on this, which this was all like scrap foam floor mats that were had a lot of wear and damage on the textured side. So I might redo this middle one. So it's not like they take that long to crank out. And make it so this, because like the fact that I have to fiddle with this to get it to match up, it's like I'm not going to want to do that on the convention floor, because like if there's enough force to pop this off, it means I hit my head on a ceiling or something, and I don't want to have to adjust that. So because like this part, like it's like bam, lined up, awesome, but this little part's annoying. But that's why I'm trying it out. I haven't done the other side yet, so it's like I would only have to redo one side. Yeah, we might be using Plastidip for this costume. I don't want to use Epsilon. I want it to stay a little flexible because I have so many big pieces. I want it to, because I know I'm going to run into things. I want it to be able to flex and not crack. So we're either going to use, the final layer is either going to be layers of Plastidip, or we just got a bunch of this latex that is the kind of material that you can spray on, and it's used for a lot of like LARP weapons and some movie props. And we haven't used it extensively before, so it'd be neat to take that and try it out on a couple test pieces. And if it does work out, it'll be cool. Because like Bill's gonna hang out with Artie Fakes over in the UK. It's ARTYFAKES, and they use that exclusively for the latex for their weapons and armor. And Bill got to hold a helmet that was coated in the latex, and he could twist it and then let go, and it would spring back into place. And I was like, well, that sounds nice. We should probably try that out. I mean, there's a reason they use that process. It's pretty successful. But we'll see. I might just go with Plastidip because I've used it before and I know it works. And plus it comes in metal color, so I could even do the coppery Vex color layer. Yeah, Evil Ted Smith uses balloon latex. I don't know like the specific kinds and stuff. So we'll be learning a lot this year. I know Bill wants to come out with an advanced foam smithing book with all of the new stuff we've learned since the last one, because we've sure learned a lot. All right, I'm going to show you the arm template I made real quickly before I go grab my piece that should almost be dry. All right, so for the arm, I'll show you the picture. So this is the kind of the shape I wanted to get. There's a seam along here that's, this whole thing's symmetrical on both sides. And there's, I wonder, let's see what other pictures I have. They're all really dark. It's kind of hard to see in this one, but see the seam kind of runs down both sides. So I was like, well, maybe I'll try and keep that seam since I really need to get this big curved shape. I'll try and make that seam real. And that way I can make it look intentional and keep that nice groove. So I started with a bunch of leftover of those like those bubble wrap plasticky bits and taped them all together into that kind of that curve that I wanted, that bulgy curve, and then the long arm shape. And then I covered that in that same kind of thin masking paper, both sides. So this is the leftover side. I had it covered on both sides. And where's the other piece? Yeah, awesome. So then I sketched on this where I wanted the seams to be, and then cut it off the form. This was the side I didn't need. Since it's symmetrical, I only need to do half. So these are the pieces. I covered in a clear tape to make sure that this whole thing didn't fall apart. You can see I kind of tried to get that middle seam thing going, and I used little hash marks to line up my pieces. So I took these off and flattened them and put them on the 6mm foam because I don't think I need the thick stuff for the arm bits. And I made this. Ta-da! So you can see this one was like, yeah, that piece. And then I could just flip this over and use it on the other side. I think what I did though was I cut out this side and then flipped this piece and traced it to get the other side, since this is like a mangly mess. So what I'll do is I'll cut this apart with some adjustments, and then I'll use this to make both shoulder bits. But yeah, it seems to be pretty good. I've already started making adjustments. You see this kind of comes into a peak. I've started sketching. I want the line to be kind of straight up here. It was too short. It ended here, so I just glued some foam to the end of it. I want this to be the full length. Maybe curve this a little bit. It goes on like that. Boop. Or I guess, you know, I have an arm right here. So it'll rest like down on my elbow, but it'll be a little bit away from me. So there'll be upholstery foam in here. It won't be right against my shoulder. It'll be out like that. So that way when the torso comes down, you'll see, like, because Vex have really wide shoulders and I do not. I don't have any shoulders. They're supposed to be out more. And that'll also sell the thin waist with the glowy box thing. People are talking about so many cool things in the chat. Thanks for joining me. This makes when Bill's not around, this makes it not so lonely, getting to have all these cool cosplay people to hang out with. Cool. Awesome. I'm going to go grab my torso. I don't need that anymore. So some of the other layers I'm going to add to this are these flat shoulder pieces that go on top. They actually move. I'm not going to make them move because who has time for that? Maybe someday. And there's also this big panel that goes across the back to make the back even taller. So it's going to get this extra layer of reinforcement. And also the shoulder pieces are going to cover where the seam is up here, which is nice, where it's going to come apart up top. The sides, the seam will probably be, I'll try and make it look like an intentional seam, because these are the two parts that it comes apart from. Okay, this contact cement looks like it is dry. If you kind of lightly tack it down, you can wiggle it around a little bit and make sure it kind of lines up. I already know like some of the seam isn't exactly perfect, and I know there's going to be some overlapping areas, so I haven't cleaned it up at all. I wanted to wait till I attach everything, and then I'll go at it with a round Dremel sanding bit to clean up any of the weird edges. Yeah. Well, that's attached forever now. I think that looks pretty cool. One of the things I did when I made this template is like this part's supposed to be a little wider, but I think it'll be all right. I mean, it's not like I'm going to redo it. It's like, that's fine. So one of the things about another nice thing about doing a bad guy character in a game, you usually don't get to see them up close, so you have a little more wiggle room for getting like nailing the silhouette, because people will just glance at it and be like, "Oh, that's a Vex." If they get up close, they're not going to know the little details aren't going to make them be like, "Oh, maybe it's not a Vex." It's like you never get that close unless you're punching them, and then they explode. Aw, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself too, Avatar. I really like how mellow and friendly the cosplay community is. Especially the ones that are kind of Punished Props followers. Everyone's just super nice. Like everyone we met at conventions has been super nice. I found that like when I'm at a convention, especially if I'm helping out with a panel or something, I get really frazzled and say weird stuff and I'm not super sociable. So it's just nice that even then people who like come up and say hi to Bill and everything, they're just still super nice. They're not like, why do you sound weird? It's like, no, they understand what conventions are like, how crazy it gets. And it's just nice to see everyone. And we have people from all over the world right now in the chat, which is, good on you if it's the middle of the night where you are. I would be asleep. Oh, yeah. Are you guys looking for UK contact cement? Is that what's going on? I missed a lot. Yeah, I'm all for adding the final white line detail. I just don't think I'll have time. We have some stuff we have to get done before Dragon Con besides my costume. But that's something I can paint on later. It'd be fun to do, like, they have a reflective paint that shows up when you hit it with bright lights. So like the paint that goes on like stop signs and stuff. So they have like white, orange, yellow. It's used for like warning stuff. So you can get it in white so that if I get hit with a camera flash and have those thin grid-like lines on my paint, it would look like it was glowing. It would look really cool. So that would be really fun to add. I just don't think I'll be able to do it until later. It'd be fun to have different versions of my Vex anyway. I could do like the old mossy version, cover it in greenery. Well, I'll show you guys. So Bill's buddies at RD Fakes in the UK use a contact cement called Fix-O-Fix. Is this it? Let's see. It's pretty. Oh, that is a PDF. Is this a place that sells it? Yeah, because different glues have different chemicals in them, and they're banned in certain countries, so it makes it hard to find ones to use. This site is taking forever to load, but yeah, here we go. So this is available in the UK, and the RD Fakes crew says it works really well for what they just use most of their stuff they make out of foam, so it works really well on foam. So it's THIXOFIX. I've never tried it because we have barge in the US, but this looks similar. It has some different chemicals in it, so that's why it's legal. But it still is a really good contact cement. Or I think they call it contact adhesive. Yeah. Oh, and of course, Bio Cosplay also just found it too. One of the things we want to do is, well, one thing we've noticed is with talking with Tabitha at RD Fakes, is every country names their stuff differently. Like for contact cement, it's different. Like it has it's not just a brand that's different. The chemicals are different. But other things like foam, a lot of this foam is the same, but in different countries they call it different things, and it's super annoying. So like right now I'm using a foam called Plastizote, but I'm pretty sure is just a 6mm like L300, but they give it a name. So it's like you can't like undercut them on Amazon because they have a special name for their product. So what we want to do is take all this stuff from all these countries and make like a spreadsheet template available for people to compare, like, oh, I'm in this country, what's the equivalent of barge? And we've slowly been putting that together, but that's probably in the winter when things die down, we'll start asking, hey, are you from this country? What do you use for this? And then just filling out that spreadsheet so that we can all find supplies. All right. Okay, I'm going to attach the rest of this guy. Some more light on there. Yeah. Okay. The next part I'm going to attach is this line, and then not do this side yet. I believe in the references, the ribs are supposed to stick out a little bit. Let's see. There we go. Well, they don't stick out too far. When you, oh, wait, hold on, let me switch back. There. That's good stuff. Is that for you or is that a commission?
This is actually for a commission for Taylor's sister's boyfriend.
Awesome. It's a shame you can't keep it.
Still was not by me though. It was by Deadbeard Props.
Oh, Deadbeard Props. I've started following him. Oh, that's why it's. I think my little LED light's dying. Yeah, that's why it's getting so dark in here. Well, it's rechargeable batteries. This poor little guy. He's like, aha! These are great. They're, I think we picked them up on Amazon. They're these like little LED panel lights, but I've just been leaving this one running and haven't recharged the batteries. That's why it's like, why is it getting darker in here? They say that mask is looking sweet. The mask is looking sweet. There we go. We also have 3 of these. They're good for doing photography pictures, so I just grabbed a spare. So now, it's so bright. Stick that up there. This is probably gonna fall on my face. There. Oh, I have so much light now. Look, I'm like blown out. Too bright. There's an adjustable dimmer on it, like LED panel lights for photography, something they're called. All right. My progress is going really slow, but I don't care because it's fun hanging out with you guys. It's my own fault. I'm too chatty. See if I do that. Sharpie is not as Sharpie as it was. Yeah, they're all kind of dying. I have to make sure I use all of Bill's stuff before he gets back, so he has to replace it. Then we have this guy, this giant Sharpie. Boy. It's the kind of Sharpie that draws on like metal. That'll work. I was marking here on with like a blue Sharpie. That's where I want the contact cement to go, since I drew the Sharpie line on the outside. I don't want to move this up to match the silver line. I'll scribble on here where the barge is going to go. And same on this guy. Yeah. Weldwood. Sounds familiar. I don't know if we've... This whole thing's getting twisted. I'll definitely have a permanent attachment system so this whole thing doesn't become lopsided when I'm wearing it. It'll probably go foam, upholstery foam collar, attached to undersuit, or attached to harness, or both. And then that torso piece will go on top of it and attach to the upholstery foam. Everything okay over there?
I'm good. Just dropping stuff.
Oh, I'm dropping stuff too. Just trying to make sure these sides match. That's good enough. Are you still going to live stream tomorrow?
Yep.
What time?
Probably 12, or sorry, noon.
Cool.
Noon or 2.
If you guys are looking to watch another live stream tomorrow, WM Armory has started doing live streams over on Twitch. What's your Twitch name?
WM Armory.
Oh, that makes it easier. WM Armory on Twitch. He started doing live streams, so he's going to do one tomorrow around noon Pacific time.
And then I'll finish up the hammer.
Yeah, he's working on his awesome Titan solar hammer out of foam, and it looks really good. So you should totally go watch that. That kind of looks straight. All right, well, hope that works. Oh, I just realized I had the chat scrolled up, so you guys have been saying interesting things and I've missed it. Yeah, Twitch is all right. It is neat that Twitch now has a creative section, so you can actually search for artists and stuff that do live streams. YouTube, I don't think, has that yet. YouTube's doing its own gaming subgenre thing. I saw that they were getting that set up, but that was like, what about creative people? I mean, like right now I think we're under entertainment, which, you know, we're totally entertaining, but I would also like to watch other cosplayers and artists do stuff. And it's nice that Twitch has that set up. All right, I have to draw on the back of this guy. Yeah. So exciting. Bio Cosplay says your live streams have been pretty cool.
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
Thank you.
He says thank you. Actually, you probably heard that. Yeah. Yeah, one of the nice things about Will's earlier stream is that Europe people won't be the middle of the night there for you if it's at noon our time, or wait 8 hours later, 7 hours later, depending on we like to change an hour because we're crazy every like 6 months, so it'd be like 7 or 8 p.m. there. All right, I'm gonna use some more barge and then do more stuff. Okay. Where did piece go? Oh, it's attached. I just realized what I was saying about YouTube and their categories. I could be completely wrong. This whole live streaming thing is new to me. I haven't done any research on it. You could very well have a creative category. I just don't know about it. Contact cement has definitely been exposed to the air too long. Still works though. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are able to show off all your cool stuff you're working on in the chat. Feel free to share away. Definitely more exciting than watching me brush on contact cement. Woo! I'm going to put this outside and make sure these don't come in contact with each other yet. Yeah. Little wigglings.
There we go.
Oh man, where'd you get the tubes?
It came with it.
Oh, so it was all part of the kit.
Yeah, all part of the kit.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Awesome.
Cool.
Pop those guys off so I can paint it.
Definitely have to take some awesome pictures of it before you send it off.
Oh yeah, some good pictures.
Should make one of those to be a respirator cover.
That would be
Just stick it on the top. That way the other respirator still works. Good night, Phoenix Revival. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, that's it's kind of already a Patreon goal. I'll show you guys. Patreon. So Patreon, if you haven't checked it out, it's a really great way to support ongoing content. So like Kickstarter is good for single projects. So like you're like, hey, I want to build this cool phone case. And your Kickstarter level is to get a phone case. And then there's some like different varieties. Patreon is good for ongoing like shows or art or just like things that occur monthly. So we have our Prop Live Patreon, and what it's mainly used for is the Prop Live Q&A episodes that we do every week with usually a prop guest. And so that's like a guaranteed, if we do a paid week of content, that we'll have a Prop Live Q&A. Like we didn't have one last week, but hopefully we'll have one this week. And you can kind of like subscribe to it. You kind of, I don't know, it's like it's all free content, but you can choose to make donations, and those donations are reoccurring. And you can like cancel it or any time or whatever. But the more patrons and monthly, or yeah, it's per week of content that we get, these we reach these awesome milestones. So we have like show notes, we have a podcast for the Prop Live Q&A. Now for the normal Prop Live in the shops, those would be super boring, confusing podcasts. And now we've reached the monthly shows from the shop, so we're guaranteed to have a Prop Live from the shop once a month. Well, we tend to, like, since I'm here alone, I tend to do more live streaming just because I'm lonely and want to hang out with you guys. But it's good to have that. But the next one, the weekly show, is if we reach that milestone, then we can do Prop Live from the shop, weekly shows, as well as continuing doing our Prop Live Q&A stuff. And more than likely, I'll be on those shows because I'm also in the shop helping Bill out with all his projects he's working on. Plus, in the coming months, we have a lot of new costumes we're working on for Dragon Con and for BlizzCon. Bill might be doing a crazy costume for BlizzCon, which is in November, if we can pull it off. And it'd be great to just stream that all the time. So the money we get from the Patreon goes towards all the camera and lighting equipment and all the time it takes to do the streaming and answering the questions. And it's just been awesome that we have supporters doing that. If you're more into the little short tips and tutorial videos that Bill does, the support from that is just subscribe to his YouTube channel. And also just if you want to try out cosplay or get a present for your friends who are cosplayers who are new into it, if you pick up his ebook, his Foamsmith ebook, so you can support us that way too. And also there's a lot of really awesome content in here. So head on over to punishedprops.com and check out the shop's ebook section. There's also a physical version of this. It's pretty sweet. So thanks for all the support and all the different kind of weird things we have going on. It's awesome. Yeah, Dragon Con. Yes, I'm pretty excited. Also excited for PAX. Usually PAX Prime in Seattle is the same weekend as Dragon Con, Labor Day weekend. Every like 4 years ago or so, they moved to the previous weekend. And that's what they're doing this year. So I get to go to both PAX and then the next weekend go down to Atlanta. So I'm really excited to go to PAX this year on my Destiny Vex costume. And it'll be awesome to actually get to see the local convention instead of just leaving. Like you going to PAX, it's down the road from where you live. It's like, nope, I'm flying to Georgia. Instead I get to do both. Oh yeah, that's a Edgewater Armor points out that in Florida it's really hard to do costume work. Anywhere where it's really humid and warm it sounds miserable. We have some friends in Arizona and their heat is very dry, I think, a lot. I've actually never been to Phoenix, but they also have problems with their costumes melting in the car. Also, like car pieces melting just from existing in Arizona because it's a desert.
Yep, 120 degrees.
Yeah, 120 degrees. Woo! So it's one of those things where you kind of have to create a good working environment and then only take your costume into environments where it can survive in. So like if you have a really good shop in Florida that's like humidity and heat controlled and it's indoors in like a nice work environment, that's great. But the minute you step outside in your costume and put it in your car and like go somewhere, you have to make sure the paint's dry, make sure the car's not too warm, like keep it in the trunk in a container that won't get warm. I don't know. There's all this crazy stuff you have to think about. When you're painting, you have to make sure it's not humid. When you're using any kind of plastic resin casting, water can just destroy your resin. So Seattle's pretty good. We get rain, but it doesn't really affect our work as much as you would think. Like right now, it's like 70. I can go paint outside. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, bio cosplay. It's a good time. If you aren't going to bring a big costume, if you're just going to bring a costume that you can, like get on a train or a bus, and you can get hotels pretty cheap, but you have to travel to the convention. The convention's in 3 hotels, and it's neat. There's walkways between them, so you don't have to go outside if you don't mind crowds, because the walkways are pretty crowded. Getting in those 3 hotels is expensive and hard to do. But if you're in a easy to work with costume or non-costume at all, you can just get any hotel in downtown. They're all listed on their Dragon Con website, and I think some of them are still have rooms. Like they're like the I don't know, the outlying hotels. But if you're in a big crazy costume, you fight for one of those 3 hotels. You fight for a place, because if you can't manage stairs, you are out of luck. That's how we started, though. Edgewater armor. The first costumes we made, we just used hot glue. I don't even think we had super glue, and I think I used like staples and stuff. And I mean, a lot of that's still fine to use, but you want to like certain kinds of structural strongness in areas, and like contact cement's used to keep soles on shoes, so it's super durable for most materials. But yeah, we all start somewhere. I know the first costume I made fell apart. The paint I did the night before, so I smelled like spray paint at the convention, the weapon I was using. Those are Team Fortress costumes. Yeah, get out of here, Phoenix Revival. Go to sleep. Good night. Or good morning, whatever time it is there. Yeah, I hope you guys show up for the Prop Lab Q&A on Thursday. I probably won't be there. I'm going to be traveling, but Bill will be running the show. All right, I'm going to go grab my armor and glue it together. Wow. Oh no, the other side's sticking. There. Oh, at least it went on straight. Yeah, we do need for the normal Q&A. We use the widget usually exclusively because Bill has a really hard time keeping up with the chat while he has a guest on the show. Sometimes he'll catch things in the chat if you do the app Punished Props if the color shows up, but a lot of them he misses. If you can't make the show, the Q&A, but you still have a question, when we put up our Facebook post, we say, hey, leave a comment in the Facebook post and we'll answer that question on the live stream. So you can do it that way. But when it's just me hanging out waiting for glue to dry, I will pay attention to the chat all day long because you guys say interesting, cool stuff. Speaking of the Q&A app, we have a question. Lisbeth has another question. Any chance of seeing you guys at a European con sometime within the next year from Denmark, but I really hope to see you guys at some point. I know Bill had a really fun time at that, gosh, what was it? Was that London Super Comic-Con? I'm not making that up, am I? Let me look it up. I think that's the one he went to. But he had a really good time and would like to go back next year. If they invite him, I think he would totally be for it. Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, so that's, he said it was smaller than their normal convention they have in London. And he really had a good time there because he had a good group of cosplayers that he got to hang out with, and it was small enough to be able to chat with everyone. So hopefully next year, I don't think they have their dates yet because that's from the 2015 date, but hopefully we can make it out to at least that convention. Bill actually has some, he has some crazy traveling in his future next year to some interesting locations. So I'm sure you'll hear about that in the coming months. Oh yeah, Will sneezed. Oh yeah, Cosplay Armory. I always hang out in the chat. It's funny during the Q&A segment, so many cool questiony things get answered, but you'll find that you miss the answers because the chat has a lot of really good answers and interesting things to say too. There's almost too much going on. I know some people will hang out in the chat during the Q&A episode and then go back and watch the episode later for the content and actually pay attention to the answers because there's too much good stuff. Super glue is great. If you get the what is this? This is also Bill's super glue. Oh, there's a shiny light there. This is Bill's super glue. This is the they call it CA super glue. This is the Instacure kind that has a little bit of a thicker consistency. You can get this at hobby stores. It's a cyanoacrylate. The stuff you're not supposed to breathe in. A lot of the stuff we use, it seems like the better the adhesive, the more you shouldn't breathe it in. It's just like, if you're working in tiny amounts of this, it's fine. But if you're like putting together a whole papercraft helmet, you'll want to wear a respirator when you use this stuff, just so you don't get in your lungs. But there's a spray adhesives you can use with this. So you can like spray this on one side of the foam, put this on the other, and they'll instantly bond to each other. So that way you won't get as much glue on yourself. But if you do get glue on yourself, make sure to get the Uncure. It's the same brand. And this will dissolve super glue. So if you glue yourself to yourself, you fumble the container open and then pour this on your hands where you glued yourself to things, and it will, you kind of have to twist it and rub it, but it'll dissolve and it'll come apart. So we use this, I mean, we do still use super glue. It's just for attaching big pieces together. It's nice to have the contact cement because it gives you some leeway. And then once it's attached, it's good to go. You don't have to use a spray or anything to accelerate it. I think this is just it's called Instaset Accelerator for all CA glues. Yeah, thank you, Cosplay Armory. Yeah, I still use that for smaller applications on things. All right. Well, the bottom isn't attached. It's still open, but I might just leave that for now. Let's see how this looks. Yeah. Yes, it's like that. Yeah, it looks pretty good.
All right, I'm out of here. I'll see you later.
Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
I think it looks pretty good. I think I'm going to wait to attach this bottom rib to the piece underneath because I might want to add a little bit more foam in there to make it stick out more. And I'm undecided, and that's okay because this is on here. It's not coming off. It's just it'll be a pain to paint if it's all wiggly like that. So I think I will call that front piece good. Good for now. That looks nice. So the next thing I think I'm going to work on is make the template for the little shoulder piece that goes up here. It's like a flat panel. It doesn't look too crazy complicated, so I should be able to get that done pretty quickly. Oh, yeah, I'm still going to stick around for a bit. I was just saying bye to Will. He was going home. He's like done working or something. I know, it's crazy. There's always so much more to do. All right, let me look at my pictures. Find a good picture of that shoulder thingy. That one's pretty good. I'll get a good picture of the front of it and then get a picture of the back. All right. So we have, I'm going to be working on this guy. Conveniently, we'll be sitting on top of the seam for this armor piece. All right. I'm just going to sketch out the base shape, cut it out, loosely cut it out, like maybe cut out a little bigger than I sketch it, and set it on the form and make some adjustments from there. We'll see. We'll see how this works. I'll do some sketching. So it's got this little front piece. And I think it goes back pretty far. Yeah. It's this guy I'm looking at. Oh, Dan Gamble is distracting me talking about glowy tummy lights. I am pretty excited about doing the glowy tummy lights. All right, let me finish sketching this and I'll show you the cool LED strip I was looking at. They do kind of like the lights pulse and stuff. I want that to curve back. I don't know if I'll end up doing that. It'll definitely be glowing though, for sure. Is that? All right. Like little circly things. I might just make this symmetrical. I don't think I have like a top-down view. That would have been super handy. All right, I'm gonna make this the left shoulder thing, and it goes kind of like that. Okay. No, it's not symmetrical. This doesn't come out as far as something like that. And it's beautiful. Don't worry, this is just a template. It'll all change. lazy to use scissors. Ah, maybe I should have used scissors. All right, I'm gonna set this on the shoulder piece and maybe use a different color Sharpie with a new design. So this is left, so it goes on that guy. Yeah. Probably change the lines I did on the side, but the front looks pretty good. All right, let's talk about lights because I'm super excited. So I like the website superbrightleds.com. I've just learned about something called side emitting LED strips. Usually when you get LED strips, they project light from the center, which is fine for most applications. But what I want to do, there are two things that I want to glow on the Vex. One is this glowy tummy thing. So if I get side emitting LEDs, they, is there pictures of them actually lighting things? Oh, I think it's working. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's hard to tell because they're so bright, but they project light sideways. So it makes it really super low profile if you're trying to edge light something in the center. So if this was like, I'm probably just going to go with the straight up white ones, like warm light ones. I could line this all the way around the little, what I affectionately call the juice box of the Vex, and it will project light into the centerpiece, which will be like a frosted acrylic. Another reason why I want these is because of, I'm going to have the Vex hand light up. I got a picture of him shooting at me. Yeah, it's one of their attacks they do. Their palm lights up. And so the other hand always holds the gun, so I only need to make one hand light up. And this would be really convenient to have the LEDs be side emitting, because then I can show you. I got the dimensions of those super bright LEDs. I think they were like 4 or 5 millimeters wide. And I designed one of the Vex hand bits, one of these finger pieces. I put one together in Maya, 3D version, and moved it over to Pepakura, so that way I got the dimensions right. And then this is a little papercraft one. It'll eventually be out of foam, so I wanted to make sure that it was like enough room for the lights in here, because this is probably gonna be 3 millimeter foam. So the lights are just gonna go down one side of this, and then light sideways. And I have to do it on 4. They have 3 main fingers and a thumb. So I have to do this on 4 of them. So just having one little strip on the side. And that way, if I did a strip down the middle and it projected outward, you get those hot spots. When it's lit from the side on like a frosted material, it's not as crazy bright and hot spotty. So yeah, it's one of the Vex fingers. They are crazy long, and they're going to be like static in like a half extended position. I'm not going to make them move or anything, so it'll just be these like static foam pieces. Yeah, you can see how crazy long. I also had to make sure that 2 fingers fit in this, since they don't have 4 fingers, they have 3, so it's going to be like this. So that'll go like that. And then this hand will be useless. Fortunately, since the other hand is holding a gun the whole time, I can make a fake grabby hand that's attached to the gun handle and just have my hand slip into that and hold it, and then I can just take it out and have a free hand on my right hand. The left hand will have these cool bits on it. Oh yeah, I don't want to use liquid though. I know it would look really cool to have it moving around, but liquid is too It's something I don't want to have in a prop, especially a prop I have to have on a plane that depressurizes. I've had a hairspray explode in my carrying or my checked baggage before. And I mean, as cool as it looks, like you can get some really cool, if you use an Arduino, you can make those these LED strips, you can make them pulse, like slowly pulse differently and make it look all cool. So I could get that same kind of flickery, wavy effect in the electronics later. And that's something I can do later, which is nice. I can just take I can have it lit normally without any cool effects, but then later I can add in the effects by adding one of the Arduino things. But I think for this, I'm just gonna make it static, make it work. I just want it to work. All right. Actually, let's. Yeah, side emitting LEDs. And I think for the actual, the chest glowy juice box, I think I'm going to not just have a flat frosted acrylic, try and make it look wavy and stuff. You can take normal acrylic and sand it really heavily in some spots and with a really light grit in other spots. And you can get some kind of like flamey, wavy look to it. So it'll look good for pictures. It just won't move. But it's one of those things where it's like, at that point, I'm just happy it glows. And it's something I can always change later. Like our Skyrim costumes, we finished them barely in time, and then the next year we upgraded them and made them more comfortable and added cool masks and stuff. So you can always add stuff later. I don't know if I like the shape of this. I need to see what the back looks like. Ah, there we go. It's hard to get a Vex to not be shooting you and get a picture of their back. Yeah, this goes. I think I'm going to make this part curved so it doesn't hit me in the face. This is the part I'm working on right now. So this is that back part. And curve this will be the inside next to my neck, so I got rid of the pointy bit so I don't have to deal with it. Actually, no, pointy bit goes in there. Let's change that. You need to use another color Sharpie. So I don't know if you could tell, but I'm pretty bad at templating. I have a hard time seeing forms, but if I do enough versions of it, it'll eventually look like the final form. I am getting a little better just with practice, but I've always had, like, I'm really bad at math. I always have been. I'm really bad at templates, or just slow, I guess. I don't know. I know some people can look at something and deconstruct it in their head, but if you sketch it out enough, you'll eventually get the right shape. Good night, Avatar. Oh, are you looking for reptane with 2 eyes? You looking for references of Patience in Time? Or a hunter character reference? There's some really good ones out there. There's actually a Destiny 3D model viewer. There's one where you can download the STL files. I think it's just Destiny STL generator. And the STL files are CAD format, so I transfer those into an OBJ so I can open it up in a 3D program. But those I don't think come with the textures, but there is a website where you can just view the 3D models. Let's see if I can find it. The problem is it doesn't, it's like using the Destiny phone app. It doesn't, the textures don't look cool and don't have the glowy bits because the shader is different. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's destinydb.com. Let's see. Make sure this website loads before I switch over to it. I'm using a very, the little computer I'm using is one of those Nux. It's thanks to the Patreon support that we were able to purchase that. So it's a little computer that lives in the shop and doesn't normally have a fan running, so it doesn't get a lot of dust in there. But definitely goes into, it's a very simple computer. It doesn't run games. It's this little tiny little box. It has trouble with websites sometimes. Hey, live streams though, so we're good. All right, are we looking at patience and time? Did I spell it wrong? It'd be funny if I spelled it wrong. Oh no, there it is. Probably don't know how to spell the word patience. Awesome. Oh, my buddy Dave Stamwell made that weapon. That's actually, it's probably one of the ones on his portfolio page. There's usually a 3D viewer. I like how I don't know how this website works. Well, either way, I think Destiny DB is the one where it usually has a view 3D, and then you can rotate around it, get a perfect side view and a perfect front view. I don't see it here. Anyway, I'll go back to doing my stuff. Oh, cool. Yeah, what's this? Is the line? Yeah, it's only one follow. Destiny's been a pretty popular cosplay so far for Guardians and Weapons, so there's some really good resources out there. I think Bill might have patience in time in his character, but he might have crushed it actually. We're at a weapon surplus right now in that game where we're being really picky about what we keep because we have so many good ones. I'm really partial to Hawkmoon, the hand cannon. It's just headshots in that game are way too satisfying. We actually have a Hawkmoon in the shop right now. It's a kit made from I think it was Z Props does a lot of it's the letter Z and then props. Xander does a lot of cool Destiny weapons. And I think the Hawkmoon is a compilation between him and Impact Props. I don't know who's the one who actually sells it, but anyway, we have one. It's a resin kit, and I'm excited about finishing it. It's too nice to take to a convention, though. It's like, oh, an actual Hawkmoon. They have like that cool feather design on the side of it. All right, I think this goes like that. This looks kind of weird. I'll probably make some edits on it. Oh, it goes like that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna trim this. One of the things I don't adhere to is accuracy around like necks and shoulders. So like World of Warcraft characters, their shoulders clip into their face when they move their arms and stuff. So it's like I tend to just cut away all that so I can actually move. So like this shoulder piece was kind of cutting in a little bit. I think I will leave it flush with this piece instead of coming in because I don't want to have it hitting my neck. I'm going to be able to actually move my head back and forth. Oh, I guess I didn't have to cut it that much, though. I'm going to trace this on a new piece of paper. Yeah, Bio Cosplay is talking about it. I think it was just, I don't know. The computer I'm using might not have the View in 3D support on it since it can't run games. It doesn't, I don't think it has a video card. It has some kind of weird, the computer's like this big. It's this adorable little box. And it can do live streams as long as you're not playing a game while doing it. We just got it because we didn't want a big computer in the shop that is going to get dust all over it. So I might not be able to view 3D models on this thing. I think that's better. Well, it's thanks to all our awesome Patreon support too that we have 2 webcams, so I can do this switching back and forth without fumbling for the camera and moving it. I would like to get a 3rd one. I know when Bill does his live streams, he uses power tools, and it would just be nice to have a power tool camera, just kind of pointed over there. Do I want this over the shoulder? No, and I have to go back and look at the references. I like how this one little piece is just going to take me forever. It does look like it overlaps a little bit. I think it's okay the way it is, though. Yeah, I think we're going to roll with it. Stressing over a little piece that you won't even see because it's on the top of the shoulder. So I think I'll just make these out of more of the 6mm craft foam, which is like, what, 1/4 inch? Wait, math. See you, wise guy Jim. Thanks for stopping in. I should actually probably, what is it? Where's our 5, 6, 7? Yeah, I'm at like dinner time, so I should probably stop soon. There. I think that looks pretty good. So I'll have, like, the shoulder piece will just attach over the seam of where my armor comes apart. And then the arm will come out right there. I think that looks pretty awesome. Except this whole thing's crooked. Yeah. Goes like that. There we go. Yeah. I think that's going to be pretty sweet. So many new people in the chat. Thanks for coming to this live stream. I think I'm just about ready to end it. But thank you for stopping by. In the future, if you're new, every Thursday, unless we have a scheduling conflict, we do Prop Live Q&A, where we have another cosplayer or prop maker guest on the show. And unless they're in a weird time zone or have a scheduling issue, it's always Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, so West Coast time in the U.S. And we do awesome Q&A with guests and stuff, and those are always great. So we do those every week, but if we have time, we do these long live streams in the shop. So hopefully, especially since we have DragonCon coming up, you'll see more of these with Bill working on whatever he has planned. I think he wants to make another Destiny costume, so we'll see how that goes. But I'll just continue working on this guy. I have the little juice box glowy thing to make, and I have the thigh pieces, and then the arms and the hand, and then the costume will be done. Also the rest of the Vex head. So a lot of stuff left to do. But then I have to make the weapon, which I think I'm going to make all out of styrofoam, make a really quick light one since I have to hold it like they hold it like straight out the whole time. I don't want it to be heavy at all or else I won't be able to. We actually have a picture right here. No, that's the web browser. There we go. See, they're kind of holding it vertically. So that'll be a challenge, making that weapon. But I think I'll have enough time to pull it off. Cool. Awesome. But yeah, I'm going to end and go have dinner. Thank you all for stopping by this episode of Prop Live. And I look forward to hanging out with you guys in the future. Feel free to stay in the chat however long you want. It's always up. You can hop in the IRC channel anytime. It should always be active. So make new friends, share all your work, share all of your cool experiences that you're working on. And I will see you next time. Bye, everyone. I just have to figure out how to end the stream. Or I could stand here forever. All right, I will see you guys next time.